Hey, this is Pat, and today we're checking out the all-new Dainese Superya shoes. So the Superya riding shoes are going to be a hot weather sport touring. I can even see commuters wearing these shoes, but something for riders out there looking for as much protection in a lower riding shoe as you can get. These are basically the bottom half of an axial riding boot from Dainese. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for something maybe with a little bit more all-day comfort and you're willing to sacrifice the ankle protection, then these might just be the right option for you. And I talked about that they're for summer riding. They have tons of ventilation running down each side. Even the entire tongue is going to help flow air through the shoe. So not something you'd want to wear on wet days, but something that could get you through the hottest months of the year with no problem, providing you excellent lower foot protection if that's what you're after. So these are coming in at the $270 price point. Sizes range from 38 all the way up to 48. They're European sizes. They come in two different colorways. I have the all black here in front of me. But let's talk a minute about sizing, because I do have something I want to call out just in case you are interested in these shoes, something that you should keep in mind. So I wear a European 44. I'm about a US 10.5 across the board in almost every shoe out there. These 44s fit me spot on, but they are labeled and they do size chart reference over to a US 11. So if you are using your US measurement, I'd go a half size down. If you're not familiar with your European size, just go a half size down from that and you should be all set. But if you are looking at it and you know your European size, like myself, I'm a 44, then these fit spot on. Slightly wide in the toe box. I wouldn't say overly wide, but in the toe box area, it's slightly wide. A little bit narrow down the sides and narrow at the heel. So it is something we've commonly seen from Dainese. So it's the same fit they've been using for years. But I do like that they're giving a little bit extra width just in the toe box area. I think that's where most of the comfort comes from, especially when you're on the balls of your foot in the riding position with the peg right under here. It's gonna be something providing a little bit more comfort all day if you are commuting or if you're riding just on the weekends and you just want to take these out for a little spin. But let's talk about all the features, work from the top down and get you through there. It is a Velcro entry system up top, pretty beefy Velcro system, and underneath of that is gonna be a speed lace system. So what I mean by speed lace, not a traditional lace up system. It's something that you can easily press on the sides to go ahead and lift it up to get more excess, pull that down, and then get your foot in and cinch it down. You might have seen it in the very beginning. There is a little bit of a mesh gaiter up top where you can tuck the excess in once you're done with it, once you've sized it all up. Now that does add a little bit of a complication when it comes to putting them on. A little bit more tighter getting your foot through just because of that speed lace system. You really got to get the excess in there, and they do have this elastic strap. Makes it a little bit more difficult, but once they're on, extremely comfortable. Something I don't think anybody's going to mind. Once you get the hang of it, it's going to be super easy, and then that Velcro goes over top just to make sure that the speed lace system doesn't go anywhere or get caught in your controls. If you have a lot of this excess and you're not using any of it, I'd take a little pair of scissors, snip them off, and maybe hit them with a lighter, just get that excess out of there. Again, anything with laces in the riding position can go near the chain, can get caught on the brake lever, on your pegs, anything like that. So you want to make sure that all that excess is taken care of before you go and get on the bike and start riding. So just keep that in mind. But again, I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, it is an entirely mesh tongue running down the front. So it's nice and breathable. It's going to allow that airflow to go through with the elastic band sitting in there, and all the speed lace systems, all the eyelets are nice and protected. So it's not going to be something that will actively get near your controls or your chain or anything like that. It's just the excess up top that I think you'd have some concerns with. The main construction is a microfiber, so synthetic leather all the way throughout. That's what Dainese uses on almost all of their boots, even up to the MotoGP level. Same with Alpine Stars and all the other brands. It's going to be a PU leather all the way down. Nice design to it. But again, that localized perforation all running down the sides. And when I say localized, it doesn't go near any of the seams or the sides, which can cause an issue. Anything with a hole punch through it just gets a little less integrity when it comes to the structure. So keeping those perforated holes away from the seams is always something that we look out for. Up at the front, you have a really nice reinforced toe box, something that's very, very rigid, going to protect the toe, and then you have a magnesium toe slider. Now that is replaceable. You can swap it out with the other ones in Dainese's line if you don't want the magnesium. If you want to swap over to like the aluminum or even the plastic one, you can easily swap those out, but it comes with a magnesium standard. In case you get into a wreck, you can easily replace that. TPR shifter box up top on there, a little shifter guard. Obviously it's symmetrical on both sides, not just the shifter side, which would be the left boot, but you do have that symmetry over there, and it's double stitched with a nice grip pattern over top. Turning to the side, I mentioned the perforations, you see that down there. A lot of double stitching throughout, which is something I always look for in my riding shoes or my boots. Double stitching, just make sure it's nice and secure. So you get that all the way throughout. An outer heel TPU slider, something that's not replaceable, but it's going to help protect the rest of the ankle in the event of an accident. Switching it back to the heel, you do have a TPU plate at the heel, nice heel counter, very reinforced, something that's nice and rigid, and an easy pull tab just to help get them on. I mentioned how difficult it is to get them on, especially the first couple times out of the box, so you want to make sure you're using that. It's going to make it a lot easier to get it on. You can even see they added a nice soft fabric at the back of it. That's going to be an area that rubs up against the back, right underneath your calf, so making sure that's a nice soft material just makes them a little bit more comfortable for all day riding. Coming to the medial side, a lot less going on the medial side, which is what you want. This is going to be facing the boot. You want as little amount of materials and fabrics and things that can get caught so you can grip the bike properly. So nice smooth areas, lots of perforation. You get the added TPU on the inside. Now it's not really a slider like we saw on the outside of the boot where if you hit the ground, that's prone to hit. This is going to be more for gripping up against the bike. So it's not going to wear down as you properly grip with your heels and with your entire foot. It's not going to be something that wears down prematurely over time. Looking at the sole is one of the coolest updates I've seen in Dainese's line in a few years because they started bringing on the TCX technology that we saw with the ground track sole. So it actually uses a TPU Z plate running down. There's a nice bend in the TPU sole reinforcement inside of there. So it's gonna be nice and rigid. If you get into an accident and anything tries to crush your foot, that's gonna be nice and reinforced, but it gives you a flex zone right inside that helps it easier for when you're on the bike. About a 4 out of 10 or maybe a 5 out of 10 on the stiffness scale. Again, in a sportier style boot, you want more movement because you're gonna be up on the pegs in that riding position if you're on, say, like a CBR or if you're on a 636, if you like my bikes from the old days. If you're on one of them, you get a little bit more movement while you're in the riding position. So I do like it, and I like the little ridge that they have in there. It's about a little bit of a 1/2 inch lift at the heel just to give you a little bit of area if you're riding in a more comfortable position or just touring, or you're not going through turns and your toes can be a little bit more comfortable. You can even lock it into the pegs at the back. But really nice grip pattern, a lot of different directions that the grip actually functions in, and that's good. If you put your foot down, if there's oil on the ground or any debris at the stoplight when you come to it, you get a lot of grip each side, and it's gonna be easier to walk around all day in as well, so keep that in mind. But the Superya boots, again, for $270, getting the Dainese features that we expect out of their top of the line boots, just taking it out at the ankles. You do get pucks in the ankles, a little bit of foam in there just for the added protection, but you're not getting like a lateral torsional protection when it comes to any sort of twisting or anything like that. So if you are looking for those, Dainese has plenty of options in their line, but we know a lot of riders out there like the riding shoe style, so you get the protection of a full race boot at the lower half, but you're getting a little bit more comfort for all day street riding. But if you have any more questions, click the info button. That's gonna take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about the new Superyas. Don't just take my word for it. But if you have any questions after that, if you're confused on the sizing, I know we went back and forth on which size is right for you, give our customer service agents a call. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up on your next ride. I want to thank you for joining me and checking out the all-new Dainese Superya shoes. I'm Pat, and I'll see you in the next video.